Okay, well, this may just be the couple you never knew you needed. Rumored to be dating are Kim Kardashian and F1 driver Lewis Hamilton. Oh my God, surprise. Well, turns out they have been actually friends for over a decade, but they have now reportedly taken their relationship to the next level. What do we make of this new rumored couple?
Okay, usually I love a celebrity couple and I'm all over it, but for some reason this irked me. I go, oh, not her, Lewis. And I really, one auntie's like, exactly. But then I had to unpack why I felt that way. Because on paper, these two make sense. You have two very attractive people who are very successful. Listen, her brand of Skims is worth $4 billion. He's also quite successful in the Formula One racing world. He has been knighted. They make sense on paper. So I was like, what is it? And I think it's this. They're both very, popular people, but he's also very private about his personal life. Meanwhile, every boyfriend she's ever dated has ended up on her reality show.
Yeah.
And as a person, I value my privacy. Like, I have a very public-facing job, but I am very, very private, fiercely private, about who's in my life and what I do with those people. And so I'm thinking about it from his standpoint, where it's like, in order to be with her, you're gonna have to let all of your business, it's part of her brand to talk about it. So I think that's my reaction, where I'm like, don't do that. You don't want that. We like that. We don't.
By design.
But he doesn't need it.
I'll tell you why. His career is almost over in racing, and he's got to think, what's next? I just want to put it out to discuss.
This can't be what's next. Please, Lewis, this can't be what's next.
See, you're having the reaction to this Kardashian couple that I had with Timothy Chalamet
and Francine.
I mean,
Kylie.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh no, but I am sort of chalking it up to, if I'm being very honest with myself, that I have a certain assumption about Timothy, and that maybe I've put him on a pedestal, and like, why would he date a Kardashian? Do you think you're kind of doing that with Lewis too? Like, you're holding him up, like we have assumptions about them, maybe even
you know what? You're right. Maybe because the way that his orbit, the way he came up, him and his dad started from the ground up, and this was not something, there were no black people in racing, and him and his dad, who's from Grenada, which is where my family's from, started this wonderful, they blossomed into this wonderful career, and she is this young woman from Calabasas who was born into privilege, who turned, and I'm not hating on her for this, she turned a sex tape into a global business, not just for her, but for her entire family. And I think maybe you're right, maybe there's a little bit of judgment of like, can't you find a different girl? Somebody else.
Yeah, I'm trying to muster up a care to give about this couple. I'm really trying hard.
I love Cynthia.
I love her. I just don't care that much about Kardashians. I don't care that much about race car driving, and I don't know.
That's so weird.
I guess if I was to say anything, I feel like maybe she needs to enter into a relationship with a kind of a more low-key person, like not someone who is in the public.
She clearly doesn't like that.
Having said that, maybe this does make sense. My understanding from people who are fans of race car driving is...
I love how you say that.
I know, is that it's a very, very busy schedule. You're doing many, many races between the months of like March and December. So maybe it is perfect because she has said that she still, like she has young kids, they climb into her bed at night, she doesn't really have time bandwidth, so maybe this is the perfect thing because they'd hardly see each other. She's also becoming a lawyer, so maybe it's just perfect. Maybe it's just like, again, a good time, not a long time.
Okay, I see.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
I'm not gonna poo-poo this relationship yet. It's still early days. There's a video floating around on TMZ. They're definitely a thing. The question is it a good time or is it a long time? And I think if it's a good time, if it's just a good time, go get it.
That's fun.
However, if there is potentially something for longer, there will be issues that come up. So she's already got 4 kids. He doesn't have any kids yet. We don't know if he wants kids. So are you going to be okay co-parenting with Kanye West?
Oh,
I just want to ask. Baby. That's number one.
That part.
There's that part. So there's kids involved. We don't know where he's going to land on that. But I will say I'm such a huge fan of Lewis Hamilton. He's a race car driver.
Yep.
But because he's also an animal guy, and I think this will be so lovely to bring that energy in for the other kids.
An animal guy?
What do you mean?
Like he loves animals?
So if you guys follow him, you know he had his British Bulldog Forever, who passed away.
I see. Okay.
And he just recently got into horseback riding. I can teach you, Lewis.
He's also a vegan. I know that, guys.
And
he's a vegan.
Just posted this. So Megan, who's one of our producers, super fan, she's like, Mel, he just posted this. And I will tell you this, Kim has picked way worse than a man like this.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm good with him.
It's great for her.
Yeah.
Still holding out for him to just move on. All right, speaking of moving on, let's move on to our next topic. Keke Palmer shocked today's Jenna Bush Hager and Chanel Jones when she admitted that the one thing that she will not do is live with a romantic partner, even if she's married or raising kids. Should not living with your partner be normalized even after marriage and parenthood? Ooh. The touchy one.
Yeah.
Yes. Auntie again is like, yes.
It's funny how I think many women after being married for a while would say, if I was ever to do it again, I wouldn't do it again. And I mean, I love Jason, and I think I still would choose to live alone. There's something to be said.
You would choose to live alone?
I think I would. And
does he know this?
I don't, he does
He's
now.
finding out now.
I think the thing is that like we all bought into some kind of a narrative that was brought down from ages ago where women were often property of men and you just meld your families together for financial reasons or for societal reasons. We just accepted this story. And I think now as women are coming into their own and more power and whatever, you can make your own choices if you have the financial means to do so.
Yeah.
And I think that there's nothing wrong. We should normalize at least the option. It doesn't mean it works for everyone. Or, I mean, again, when you have kids, it might not. But I think we should normalize
Okay, let me just jump in.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Yes, when you look at the history of marriage, etc. Am I the only one who thinks, first of all, fairy tales sold women a bag of dirt?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but hold on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come to the same conclusion.
Okay.
Because the fairy tales said happily ever after. The fairy tales never told us, is it still happily ever after if you're doing his laundry and cleaning the toilets after him? So what I will say, but that is not for me the reason why to live apart. The reason for the fairy tales is actually we have believed the tale that when you get together and you find the love of your life, it's unicorns and rainbows. No, real life and real relationships are hard.
Yep.
And I think by definition, if you are going to choose to be with somebody, the point is not to run away from friction and difficulty. It's actually to learn the art of compromise. So the second that you do start this thing, to me, potentially it's a slippery slope. And also, what message are you sending your kids? I just want to throw it out there.
I think it's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, it's not, I think the word compromise is a tricky one, right? Because I think power, we could do a whole
and that word, that C word, really gives me a chill down my spine.
Well, it's
the word
compromise?
Yeah. As soon as I hear it, I go, oh, that sounds like I'm giving in to make sure that everybody else is
no, that's not what I mean.
Because the compromise that I've grown up seeing from my mother, grandmother, aunties, it's always the woman who is compromising so that the man can be comfortable. So when I hear that, I go, okay. I don't know about you guys, but I heard what Keke had to say, and I was like, Keke, I feel heard and seen. And I know there are a lot of single women out there kind of going, yeah, that's exactly what we've been trying to tell everybody who's like, don't you want to get married? Isn't it the dream? And it's like, is it a dream? Because when I really talk to you, actually, there's a girlfriend I had years ago who was the first person to mention this. She said to me, she's like, I love my husband, but I think I would want him more. I would desire him more if he had his own house down the street. She goes, because it is the daily stuff of telling him, reminding him to do stuff, pick something up, not doing the thing I want, him just doing his own thing, having to deal with his family. She goes, that is killing my libido for my partner, who I love very much. She goes, so if he had his own house with all his stuff and all his nonsense, I would want him more. And I remember listening, kind of going, And I'll tell you, as you, if you're single, as you get older and live by yourself longer, it gets harder and harder to imagine a life where you are with this person, sharing your bed, the bathroom, everything. Like when I hear it, I go, oh, no. And that's an honest feeling. And it's not that I don't want a companion. I just don't want to deal with all your stuff. I just want to deal with my stuff.
A couple of weeks ago, I would have told you this is a horrible idea. Love, you gotta be together. But I found myself in a situation where Simon was away for a week and I was home alone. I think it's maybe the first time I stayed home alone.
How long have you been together?
Not traveling. 22 years.
22 years, okay.
So 1 week, and I thought I would miss him so much. Oh, and I did. But it was really nice to be home alone. And here's the real rub. Simon wasn't on vacation having fun. He was taking care of my mother.
Oh, wow.
I'm a monster. I think it's time for a break, though.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah.
You know, great place.
Yeah, I think we should throw in a commercial right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Wrap it up.
Now.
Fascinating. We're going to revisit this one, I have a feeling.
So 3 million newly released videos, images, and other files linked to Jeffrey Epstein are raising questions about a lot of famous and powerful men. CTV News reports there are FBI interviews with alleged victims and hundreds of unverified allegations against Donald Trump and other high-profile figures like Bill Clinton, Elon Musk, and ex-Prince Andrew. So What is your reaction to the release of these latest files?
It's so awful. When this first dumped over the weekend, I actually don't think I slept Sunday night into Monday. My husband kept saying, Mel, you gotta go to bed.
Oh, wow.
But I'll tell you why. It's a terrible thing. That's not what you want to be putting in your head. But I couldn't almost believe what I was reading. The allegations, the emails, they were so disturbing, the behaviors. It was so depraved. And on the one hand, we want to be informed, and on the other hand, you got to protect your peace. And I didn't know where I was most days. The thing that I was stunned with the most was just how big and powerful and rich these people were that are being alleged of horrific things. And it makes you realize very quickly there's two sets of rules. There's ones for them, and then there's the rest of us. Yeah, that's number one. The second thing I thought of was, okay, so now we have all of this. There's got to be a rush for some kind of investigation, and who's going to lead the investigation? Oh, wait, nobody, because Trump has stacked the deck. It's his people in the Department of Justice. It's his people running the FBI. It's his people running the CIA. It's his people who are the Attorney General. Anyone, it's almost like he knew, I got stuff about me out there, so I better stack the deck so no one's going to come for me.
His name is mentioned a few times.
Thousands of times. So last point I want to make is, the last takeaway was, as the mother of a daughter and remembering myself at the ages that a lot of these young girls and boys were allegedly trafficked, I thought, what can I do against this? If you are a survivor, if you have been the sex trafficked, if you are a sexual assault survivor, and you're wondering, should I speak out? This is the reason why women especially don't. There will be no accountability for these men, and I feel sorry for the survivors.
I mean, I also just think about, as you're mentioning Donald Trump, about how he previously also stacked suspicion among all of us about fake news. And, you know, like that was just his whole thing, very early days, right? And it was such a strategic thing on so many levels. And so when I started hearing these things as well on the weekend, I was just like trying to sift through, like, what is TikTok, what is Instagram, and what is legitimate news? So I, of course, would hear a crazy rumor, and then I would go and I would be like, why is no one reporting on this? Is it not true?
Yeah.
Or is it that it was out of fear that people aren't writing, or like what?
I did the exact
Okay,
same thing. It felt like everyone on Instagram and TikTok was like the new Woodward and Bernstein, getting to the bottom of it. They were going to uncover this, and I was mesmerized. I was like, "Is this all true?" And then went to like legacy media sites, and I was like, "Whoa, they're reporting on it, but." It's just a link here and there. And then I realized that there's such a difference between, or at least I think there's a massive difference between the emails that have come out, emails from Jeffrey Epstein's account, some of which weren't even sent and have people's names, and some correspondence. But there was also this tip line, this hotline where people could call in and make tips after, I believe, he was put in jail in 2019. And so the tips in this line, that's where you're getting some of the stuff. I don't even want to...
And people's names.
They're wild. They're wild.
They're wild. And so I believe that legacy media is sort of taking their time, parsing things, corroborating things, and getting to the bottom of things. The New York Times, for example, even went so far as to reach out to the feds and say, hey, listen, in some of these files, there are pictures of victims that aren't redacted and they're nude. You need to remove these. Wow. So you can see then that a paper like the New York Times is taking their time and even alerting the federal department to being like, hey, slow down.
Can I talk about one quick wild claim, though, that did come out that I've just been... So there was a photo of Prince Andrew with a victim lying on the ground, which was very disturbing. But then there was also a whole series of emails. The BBC reported about this, very legacy media reported about this, series of emails between Sarah Ferguson and Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so she clearly had a big relationship with him, like a friendship that was long-standing. She asked him for money repeatedly to help her cover her rent. But one of the strangest things is that she wrote to him to congratulate Jeffrey Epstein on the apparent birth of a child. She wrote, and I quote, "It's heard from the Duke that you've had a baby boy. And then even though you never kept in touch, I'm still here with love, friendship, and congratulations on your baby boy, Sarah." So it has never been publicly confirmed that Epstein ever had children. But if these revelations are accurate...
Is that short code for something else, though?
Is it a code for something else? I do not know. Or is there a child out there? We do not know. But I am here for finding out. That's just one piece.
Has anyone found themselves putting on a tinfoil hat, though? Almost, Like me, too. I never was interested invested in this before.
Yeah, I'm probably the only person who's not shocked. I'm actually shocked that people are shocked by this story because to me, this is just history repeating itself. Because for centuries, and this is something that I read that I really want to read to you guys. For centuries in the United States, white male slave owners wielded absolute power over people who had no legal voice, using violence, rape, and murder as tools to control with near total impunity. Does that sound familiar? So what we are seeing now is the same thing, but we just have different names. And there's one thing that's also kind of different. The slave owners attacked black people. Now, these men are attacking young white children and little girls and little boys. And Epstein, you know, sometimes the rejection is protected. And one of the things that was revealed in the files is that he's very racist. He does not like black people. He thinks that we are stupid and useless. And he was like, never bring one of those people to my party. And I hate racism most of the time. But this time I was like, oh, thank God. Take that to somebody else. It's one of those things where it's like, yes, this is what you guys, but you know your victim. And also, the claims that they were always having, like, oh, these people are the bad people. Whenever I see a group of people doing that, it's like, actually, no, you are the person, but you're trying to convince everybody else to look in the opposite direction. And that's precisely what the Republicans have been doing to the Democrats. And now all of it, we're all finding out the truth. But to me, none of this is surprising.
I just, this is obviously just the beginning. It's been going on for a while. I'm just waiting to hear all the people who were claiming that it was the left that was all full of pedophilia and sex trafficking.
Well, we already did that.
I'm just wondering, where are all the MAGA people on the right who defend children who are out there? Where are they in the streets?
They're in the files.
Are they screaming?
They're in the files.
Are they screaming? Do you ever get a side of guilt when ordering takeout through an app? The New York Times spoke to hundreds of readers who regularly order in, but they also worry about the cost, how much the drivers are getting paid, even the environmental impact of this kind of convenience. So, you know, do you ever have some kind of moral weight with your fries when you're ordering? Anybody?
Oh gosh, of course I'm going first. Okay, and for the longest time I never used the apps because I'm like, I live in the city center where everything is like a block away from me and I'm like, I don't need it. And I don't know when my mind changed about that, but once it did, boy, did I run with it. And the guilt is not that there's someone bringing the food to my house, because sometimes I just don't want to put on a bra and my wig and go get food. I just want it brought to me, right? It's when I see how much that burger, fries, and a drink is costing me now, $30. A $12 meal is now $30 with all the extra tax, and I'm like, why am I spending my money this way? There was one week where I caught myself and I spent over $200 in 1 week, and I was like, no, honey, we have to go back to the grocery store. What are we doing? So the guilt is how I'm just like, because you know what? You don't see the money. You just touch the app and it's connected to your credit card. So it's so easy. And then I start to take a look and I go, we have got to stop this. So I do one order every 2 weeks and that is it. And even then I'm still feeling, feeling horrible because I could just put on my shoes and go get the money
that you're feeling bad about, the loss of the money. For me, I hadn't really thought about this very much because I don't use them that often. But Jason, my partner, he feels terrible for the drivers, especially in this weather. He's constantly thinking about them. And I agree, but then I'm just kind of like, but are we also helping out a business? Like we had this, right? I mean, this is a dilemma. We had this restaurant that we wanted to go, I wanted to go to. It's a Persian restaurant. It's up in North York. It's far away. And we're not going to go to that restaurant right now. So I was like, we can use one of those services. And he didn't want to do it because he said that's too far for the driver. But then we're not supporting the business at all.
If you give the driver a good $10 tip, balances out the guilt.
Okay, so sorry, I would agree with that. I think it gets tricky in the city. Like, I want to sympathize with, this story was fascinating, and it was a fascinating stat that one out of every 3 Americans do this at least once a week. I was shocked by that number because I'm one of the people that doesn't do it very often, particularly in a city like Toronto. You guys are all in the city today. You've probably seen the e-bikes, right? People driving through snowstorms sometimes to deliver, like it's not necessarily dinner, they're delivering sometimes an $8 latte.
That
is bonkers. Someone couldn't make a coffee in the kitchen, and it does.
Coffee tastes so good.
Oh my God, but the money, it's both the money, but it also feels like borderline exploitation and modern day serfdom, because how much is that driver or of that bike taking home. That's the part that scares me. I would recommend, here's a little PSA.
Yep.
If you can contact the restaurant and find out if you can order online via them rather than a second party, and order from them directly. That's my favorite place in my neighborhood.
Well, you know what they do?
And they deliver.
Sometimes they offer you deals on the apps, so it's like the deal that you'll get directly from the restaurant is not the same deal that you'll get on the app.
That is true.
Cheaper.
No,
so they barter.
But you just said, remember that when that $12 meal becomes a $30, even if you're getting 20% off, it's never a deal.
Okay, I think we're missing, the only thing we're missing here is I'm gonna be the one who says, we need to be cooking more at home.
Well, yes.
Now,
obviously.
that's the bottom line. I think convenience has made everything so easy, and it's really easy to be like, whatever, but I also think, yes, for our health, we should probably be cooking more. I think to slow down, to be off our phones, to spend time with family, to teach your kids a life skill. Having said that, time itself is a privilege. Time itself is a privilege. If you talk to a working mom who's single and got 3 kids, and she rushes home and she does not have the resource called time to be cooking and starting from scratch and looking up recipes or going to the grocery store and groceries are
good.
So time itself is a privilege. I am not going to say to her, feel guilty for order. Order for the children.
Aren't you going to make someone feel guilty if they're ordering 3 square meals a day when they have restaurants 200 meters from their front door?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're wasting
all right,
all
I got
that
it.
money.
I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry. Also, we cannot forget, and there's a young man in the front row who just says, like, I don't know how to cook. So it also is convenient for the people who are like, listen, I wish I could go home and put something together, but it doesn't taste the same. So the apps give me exactly what I want. And trust me, I don't order the one, you know those people who just order the one coffee? I won't do that. Not because I can't, it's because I don't want the judgment from the driver. I don't want to, because sometimes they knock on the door.
You're like, throw in a donut too.
No, I feel like sometimes I knock on the door just to see who's like ordering one coffee, and I don't want to be like, sorry, I just wanted one coffee. So I only order meals, and that is my balance.
Yes.